Do we need an alignment system? This week, I argue with myself to decide whether an alignment system is necessary for the game or just a useless piece of fluff. Hello players and GMs, I am Reese and welcome to another video by Jetpack7. Before we get started this week, I just want to remind you to please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I really want to start expanding the content that I'm creating here in a little bit, creating videos that are a little different than anything I've done so far, exploring topics that I haven't really touched on before, so make sure you're subscribed and notified of when videos go up, because expanding content styles is honestly pretty nerve-wracking, and it helps a lot to see the numbers be at least comparable to usual. So thank you all in advance for doing that. It will really help me out. This week, I wanted to address a topic that I've seen bouncing around different Facebook groups and making waves in any D&D discussion thread: alignment. More specifically, the rumors that Wizards of the Coast may be removing alignment from stat blocks of monsters in the future. Now, honestly, I can't speak to the accuracy of these rumors, and the last thing I want to do is stir up any drama, so instead of speaking on something I can't possibly know about, I'm going to discuss why anyone would consider removing alignment in the first place. I've seen a lot of people argue that alignment is just as pointless on PCs as it is on NPCs, so I'll be arguing both of those points: why alignment is helpful for a GM to use on their NPCs or monsters, and for players to use on their characters, and then the opposite end of that, why none of that is useful. And after both of those arguments, I'll give my personal perspective, but first, let's start off with the positive alignment guy. Thanks, Reese. Hi everyone, I'm Newt Rawlgood, and I think the use of alignments is absolutely necessary for a successful D&D campaign. I've seen the complaints. Alignment isn't accurate. Personality should define your character, etc, etc, etc. It seems pretty simple. Alignment just isn't necessary. But I don't think this argument is as cut and dry as people may think. At no point during this argument will I assert that alignment defines a character, PC and NPCs alike. In fact, it is quite the opposite. The character defines the alignment. Allow me to clarify. When you're creating a character and you choose their alignment, you are making that decision based on how you believe that character will behave. And from that point on, you will stick to that decision, because you've given yourself a solid framework on which to base your character's ideals. For example, let's say your character is lawful good. They have a rock-solid set of principles that they abide by, which transcend even that of the law of the land. That is why they are lawful good. It is not because they are lawful good that they have a rock-solid set of principles. But now, we add the human aspect. Nobody is perfect. Nobody can perfectly abide by their principles with no exceptions. So, by choosing an alignment, did you create a character whose ideals transcend even the flaws of humanity? No. And that's what makes them interesting. They have an alignment, they believe in their principles, but they are not perfect. But straying from one's alignment once or twice does not imply that they no longer match that alignment. Rather, it simply introduces internal conflict to that character, because now they're questioning those rock-solid principles I mentioned earlier, and after enough questioning and testing of those lawful good boundaries, it may lead to a shift in alignment. And that is such a fascinating and exciting character arc to play out. Your GM creates a path for your character to travel, and your alignment creates the walls. Over the course of that adventure, your character bumps into the walls every now and then, maybe even tries to push them over once or twice, questioning why the walls are even there at all. Eventually, they start breaking down those walls, one at a time, revealing an entirely new way to travel the path that's been set before them. Let's use an example of a popular character to see a clearer version of what I'm talking about: Jon Snow. Spoilers ahead for anyone still watching Game of Thrones. To avoid the spoilers, go to the description and click on the spoilers off timestamp. Now, starting off, I'd say Jon Snow was pretty dang lawful good. He had a very staunch set of principles, first brought into question with his little talk with Tyrion about cripples, bastards, and broken things. He goes to the Wall and questions his ideals once again. The Wall isn't filled with honorable warriors fighting for the safety of the land. They're thieves and murderers, all around just rough people, but that still isn't enough to sway him. He takes charge and becomes the perfect model soldier of the Wall, staying true to his principles. And then the third and biggest moment of ideal questioning comes in the form of a gorgeous woman. Suddenly, wildlings don't seem too bad. At this point, he's broken his vow, he feels shame for it, but even then, he is still loyal to the Night's Watch and his principles, until, they stab him to death. Then he wakes up, puts them all to death, and says, I'm neutral now. Peace. This is an amazing example of alignment shift because he repeatedly questioned the principles he was raised on, but continued to stay true to them until he absolutely could not anymore. From an NPC perspective, alignment creates a framework for exceptions. Characters like Driz Towarden don't exist without alignment. Is he just a nice guy coming out of a society of mean people? No, he's a good character coming out of a city of evil slave owners who turn people into spiders if they don't satisfy their spider god. You don't even have to use it for an entire race of people, rather just apply it to an evil sect of those people. Maybe not all hobgoblins are evil, but the legions of murderous hobgoblins laying siege to cities and burning them down certainly is. And to say you don't need alignment for that feels hollow. What is a lich whose existence is fueled by souls of innocent people? Misunderstood? Of course not. They're evil. And there is nothing wrong with using a term that encapsulates their behavior, and that is what alignment is all about. Encapsulating behavioral trends in a single phrase. Thanks, Newt. Hi, everyone. I'm Chaotic, but you can just call me Kevin. I'm here to share with you the great word of not using alignment. It's quite simple over here. All that, everything Newt Rawlgood said, ignore it. It's all pointless information in the face of someone like me, and soon like you, who understands that titles are absolutely meaningless. A character's moral spectrum is much more nuanced than can be captured within alignment. Those walls you mentioned are exactly what I'm talking about. Why create a character stuck in a maze when you could start off in a field with infinite options of where to go and how to operate? Any walls that are in my field were put there by my character. Maybe I'm playing a character who doesn't hold the law of the land in high regard. Stealing is necessary for some to survive. Heck, even murder can be justified. You'd probably define that as chaotic neutral. But what about when this rough and tumble guy also uses the money he collects to, I don't know, fund an orphanage? Feed the homeless population? What if he follows a strict code that says, I will do whatever is necessary other than harm kids? Is that strict enough of a moral code to be considered lawful, or is it still chaotic because he will do whatever is necessary? These are super basic examples, but my point is, it is pretty difficult to place these characters, and I bet, regardless of where you stand, you'd find plenty of people who disagree with you. It just proves that alignment is not an objective system, and the entire point of the alignment system is to give an objective viewpoint on the behavior of a creature. So the very core purpose of alignment is already kaput. And in regards to this exception to the rule thing you talked about, are you telling me we can't have an exception to the rule without giving a title to them? Driz Towarden isn't special because he's a good drow among evil drow. He is special because he defied his society's strict rules because he saw them as wrong, despite the fact that their punishments for defiance are extremely harsh. He is special because he broke free from a city populated by slave trade whose history is defined by blood, betrayal, and forced loyalty. He isn't special because he is a different alignment, he is special because he defied alignment entirely. And that, my friends, is exactly what this argument is all about. Thanks for the arguments, Newt, Kevin. And for me personally, unsurprisingly, I sit somewhere in the middle. I like alignment, but I don't need it. I use alignment as a framework for PCs and NPCs to help guide their behavior consistently, as a means of avoiding slipping my own moral framework into their decision making. It's a fun role-playing exercise to behave as someone who has a strict alignment, and it helps for me to decide how my NPCs will behave when I'm running a game. I basically find that it helps simplify things in my mind. That said, I don't think alignment is as much of a set of walls as it is a set of lines, sort of like the lines on a track. Everyone has their set lines, and at any point in time you can cross from one line to the other, but you tend to end up back in your own lane. Now, obviously that's not exactly how racing works, but that is how alignment works in my head. I think it's pretty silly to have a very strict opinion one way or the other. Alignment is what you want it to be. If you want alignment at your table to be a strict set of moral allowances, that's fine. If you want alignment to basically not exist at your table, that's fine too. Just don't tell other people how they should or should not use it. Which brings me to the rumors that Wizards of the Coast might be eliminating alignment from creature stat blocks in the near future. I don't want to talk too much about it because this isn't really my place, not to mention I don't even know the validity of the rumors. In short, I think it's fine. Wizards of the Coast can do whatever they want to the game, and at the end of the day, if we don't like the rules, we can change them. That's the beauty of D&D. The book does not define your table. Adding on to that, the thing that people need to understand is that Wizards of the Coast is setting the baseline rules. Stripping away at these structures that they had created before just simplifies the game, allowing us to add or not add whatever we want when we play. So yeah, I don't think anybody needs to be raising a stink about this because it really won't have an impact on your game, but that's just my opinion. Alright, that's all I've got for today. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope my arguments helped you form your opinion a little bit more. Let me know what you think about this debate in the comments below. Do you fall more in line with Newt or Kevin or somewhere in between? Either way, if you liked this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you around.